r/AskReddit. What is the scariest thing about living in your area? In all the forests around here, and even some of the city parks, there are stinging trees. Thankfully not this will last for years and maybe lead you to suicide ones, but it does add an extra layer of adrenaline to bushwalks. Drugs are freaking everywhere. Everyone either does them or knows someone who does. The scary part about it is how easy it is to get wrapped up in them, or in groups of people you don't want to associate with. Drug dealers, shady junkies, etc. I discovered that last weekend someone had a bonfire literally 4 feet behind my garage in the back lane. I found tinfoil packets and a spoon in the ashes. The fire looks like it was trying to spread. Fricking meth head's gonna burn down my house and kill me in my sleep. Equally scary is the unsettling fact that if I sold my home today, I don't think it's worth what I paid for it 5 years ago. How people dislike/discredit the police and always hide each other's crimes from the officers. I am talking about vandalism, battery, and attempted murder from what I know. And it is frightening how many people are racist/homophobic/hateful in any way. Sweden. I live in a pretty quaint university town, but my apartment is in one of the more segregated areas in the outskirts of the city. The weather was pretty cold yesterday, and it was raining. I guess that I could have catched a cold. Most days, that or getting hit by a careless cyclist is what I worry about. Vegas. I woke up from gunshots once, only a block down from where I was. There were drug dealers as next door neighbors. Also, it's so hot here, people who end up on the pavement due to a car crash or anything sometimes need more emergency care for the third-degree burns from the pavement than injuries from the actual crash. I live in the UK, and knife crime has significantly risen in my lifetime. A boy I went to school with was stabbed, then later arrested for carrying weapons. Another 3 boys in my year robbed the local corner shop with knives. I went into town a few weeks ago, the same night someone was stabbed at one of the bars we considered going to. The following night, 3 people were stabbed outside the club we did go to. 2 people were stabbed outside a pub my family used to go to. It's scary. There are a bunch of kids that ply until like midnight outside my house, and a lot of the time they will scream extremely loud, like "I'm getting murdered, please help" kinda loud. It always makes me wonder if they really are getting murdered. Shopping for a new home is eye-opening. Found a lovely place but then found out it's sitting on top of the Hayward Fault. Also in a liquefaction zone. And in a fire-prone area. Plus a landslide risk. Was going for about $1,000/square foot. Jacked up male kangaroos. Especially when they stand at my door and literally pound on it hoping that I will come out and feed them, bad habits created by ignorant tourists. Bonus fear if they lean on your car and you need to get past them because you are late to work. I live right next to a huge chemical factory site kinda thing. And by right next I mean, I'm basically surrounded by it. It's a very small city and it's built so that if anything happens in that factory, everything will get closed down so you can't get out. So basically, if anything blows up resulting in a huge chemical cloud, guess I'ma be one of the first zombies. I want to be vague because I'm sure this had some news coverage, but there was this home invasion and blood was literally everywhere, on the street, on the neighbor's house, everywhere. This one guy had a fricking katana. It was also a street away from me and I pass this house when I ride the bus to school. My town's pretty safe and small, but nearby we have a village that's known as the Murder Village. It's not really as bad as it sounds and going there isn't dangerous usually. The problem is rather farmers having beef with one another and sometimes it escalates with knives. Literally 2 days ago my mom's car's window got broken and was searched by a thief. On that same night, my neighbor's car was searched too. And literally 2 days before that, my other's neighbor's bikes got stolen. I'm in Toronto and I think our city is going to shat. child pornography capital of my state along with a high rate of meth use and previously one of the first cities to have a really awful bath salt problem. I remember reading ads in the local papers for bath salts back before they were banned and at least 10 shops in my small city sold them. Couple of local gang members live across the street from me. Few months ago another group came along and threw things at the house. Ended up in a fight between these two groups. One of them was seriously injured. Don't really feel safe anywhere in my village anymore. There's a man with face paint, changes percussion, mostly horror-inspired, that roams around the town at night and taps on bedroom windows to scare people inside with the face paint and a weapon in hand. One of them was the child of a friend of mine. He had a devil's face on in that occasion. Poor thing won't sleep alone anymore. They can't figure out who he is and the town is fairly large, 15,000 people, and you never know what area he strikes in next, so it's hard to track down. Our local government can't understand why businesses shut down every time they raise rents and businesses' rates. To combat the drop in cash flow from few businesses in the area, they are forced to raise rent and business rates. Old people don't really know how to drive. I am living in what is essentially a retirement city. You have to be over 50 to own a house here, staying with my parents and there are several accidents daily. I was freaking hit by a truck crossing a stop sign, a truck that was already stopped and just hit the gas. I live in the drug capital of my country. Though you would not know it if you lived here. The only thing you hear about are police roll-ups of weed farms or meth labs and waste material dumped in nature. It is sad and bad for the awesome woods we have here. But you rarely hear about murders and drug-related deaths. In my country, there's this gangs not run by old people or mafias but composed of kids ages 8 to 18. Like if one member gets into a fight, he'd call his gang and they'll beat up the person because not everyone here is in gangs, so they don't have backup. My aunt's father was stabbed multiple times when he offended a gang and he called his friends and they attacked him. Sometimes my friends would get into fights but it always stopped by authority. There is that alley near the rail track which I always take instead of going around. Recently I've heard there is a Muslim gang waiting for people to pass through to eventually either rob or kill them. Around 2 deaths so far. No, it is not America, it's UK. The deer don't just cross roads, they also furiously charge at vehicles. So, say you work at 4 a.m. and you're half awake. You might get a jolt of adrenaline from a deer smashing into the side of your car. Like I did. Everyone here is uber wealthy and entitled, so they all drive their luxury SUVs like freaking psychopaths. You risk your life walking anywhere near a road. I almost got run down by some doctor's wife in her Bentayga when she didn't want to wait for the lights and just hopped the sidewalk into the plaza. There was just a robbery/shooting right outside my apartment complex the other night, and my roommate and I watched as cops shut down the entire street I live on, and as more cops circled the block with K9s and flashlights. Turns out a bullet went through the window of the apartment complex across the street. Spooky. People. Yay, they can be animals. I mean, now I don't go outside, so it's fine. Now what's scary is I live near loads of oil and gas plants. One wrong move or a fire breaks out, we are all dead because it will be like a bomb going off. Skunks. I live in a wooded property at the foot of the Ozark Mountains. There could be a skunk around every corner. There's one living behind my machine shed. And there's a dead one at the top of my property, so everything currently smells like it. I live on an army base. Everyone assumes it's super safe because it's guarded, but without fail at least once a week someone is assaulted, murdered, robbed, or kidnapped on post. Also just last week an entire sex trafficking ring was uncovered in the surrounding city, and most of the involved members were servicemen and women. That there are no jobs and lots of criminals. Glass and iron manufacturing jobs left the area. There are still plenty of farms, but it's not locals working them, other than the owners. Politicians' great idea to boost jobs, build prisons. We have 7 penitentiaries in my county. While lots of corrections jobs opened up, those are not good jobs, CPTSD rate is high, and families of those incarcerated move to the area, bringing their shoddy habits. Just yesterday I was mountain biking in the woods across the street, when I heard a strange noise. It sounded like a recorder. The instrument. It sounded like a young kid was playing it and making the thing squeak. I was the creepiest thing. If it was a bird or something, but I got the hell out of there. This devastated me. But there's a trend currently where people are stealing small dogs to bait bigger dogs. They are taking people's pets as sacrifices so bigger dogs get a taste for blood so that they can pit fight them. There's this really disheveled homeless man with a backpack who's followed my coworkers home before, ran into my workplace screaming about bad energy, and also started following me on my way home once talking about Lucifer and referring to scripture. Poor dude probably doesn't want to hurt anybody but just has schizophrenia or something. I live in Northern Ireland and there's a lot of sectarianism between Catholics and Protestants with the UDAIRA and the UVF and such. It's been said that it takes one wrong killing for it to unleash bombings and shootings which will result in many deaths. Thanks for watching this auto-generated video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload videos like this one daily. I put a lot of time into developing this video generator, but if there have been errors, please tell me in the comments below. Also leave me a link to another thread you would like to see a video about. Have a great day, Alex.